Dude, did you know you can subscribe to onlywrestlers.com and keep in touch with your favorite wrestlers? The party never has to end.
This week's episode of One of a Kind with RVD is presented by Get Blitzed, and you can get 15% off your order when you head to get-blitz.com and use promo code RVD. Get 15% off.
One of a Kind with Rob Van Dam is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
And I wanted to put me and Jerry to the test.
Okay, so this also kind of sets some neat things up. Jerry Lynn happened to do an interview over a week ago with Wrestling Shoot Interviews, and that's the same guy that I don't know the guy's name. I'm sorry, but same guy that hosts with Dutch Mantel and stuff like that. But he happened to talk about kind of what we've talked about before on here when it comes to younger wrestlers. What their thought process is. And you mentioned too how you influenced a lot of the younger talent today, but some of it kind of doesn't translate in the way that you would ultimately want it to, because they kind of see it as almost like a video game where it kind of changes in the structure of how they have matches. But this was Jerry's take, what he was asked about. So I want to get your perspective on this, Rob. Here, I'll play the video.
I've already teed you up for this question because I wanted your response off camera. In early parts of the God's sake. In the early parts of the 2000s, there was a huge spot fest movement that infected the Northeast independents. This led to a lot of botched up video game car crash type matches where the wrestlers seemed like they were just doing choreographed movements rather than just working. Did you ever look at what the kids were doing and say to yourself, this is what I created?
It's, people say that we had a big influence on to what had happened, but I didn't mean for it to get to the point where it is, where it doesn't even look like two guys are trying to win a match. It just looks like a choreographed Cirque du Soleil exhibition. And so, because when Rob and I were doing our spots, we were actually trying to hit each other with wrestling moves. Like I would try and, one time he did the splits and I dropped the leg on his head. Well, of course, next time he's going to learn from that. And when I go to drop the leg, he's going to move and sit up, and we go from there. So that's the kind of the story we were telling. But we were trying to hit each other with wrestling moves. Like I would trip him. I'd try and drop an elbow on him. He'd move. He'd do that flip leg drop. I would move. And now we're at the stalemate. But here's the difference too. A lot of the guys, when they do these standoffs or whatever, they're not even at the end of it. They'll turn to the camera or just do a pose or look at the crowd and hold their arms out and do the Stewart and go, look what I can do, and beg for a reaction. At the end of me and Rob's, we're right away going after each other, and now we see we're both standing up and ready. That's the stalemate. Because we were still trying to stay on the offense, but we see the other guy's already ready. Now we're stopped dead in our tracks because we're both there ready. So it looked like we were still trying to go after each other. But you got the stalemate there. Instead of turning into the crowd and holding your arms out and going, look what I can do. Or looking at the hard cam and posing. Or we still made it look like we were trying to win a match. And like I said, we weren't doing... kung fu theater exhibition. We were trying to hit each other with wrestling moves. We weren't doing, I don't even want to say, because I don't want to cut down other people's work. I mean, there's so many talented guys out there who can do stuff I never could do, but you can still make it look like you're trying to win a match.
All right. I thought that was really interesting and really smart on Jerry's part. Wanted to see if you wanted to add any elements to that too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree 1,000%, and I feel like a lot of fans also will agree. There's a big difference when it looks like two people are just dancing together, and what me and Jerry did going after each other. And I was trained that way, you know what I mean? Like anytime my opponent was laying on the mat, she could be like, what are you doing? Jump on him, pin him, cover him. You're trying to win, get on him, and like, boom, he takes a bump, cover him, whatever, shoulder tackle, cover him. Like every time he looked vulnerable. So then after a while, instead of just dropping down, then, hey, okay, this time I'm going to kick my feet over and spin and then land on. Okay, this time I'm going to do a moonsault and cover him. Okay, boom. I'm going to do a 360 and then cover him, and you could add that stuff in without having it scripted, without having anybody know what it is, But I always, if I'm going to give you a leg drop, nobody but me has to know if I want to jump up and do a 360 into the leg drop. Nobody has to know but me. And that's the way that I was taught and brought in. And that makes a big difference, as opposed to I want to walk on the top rope, hold my hand, make it look as obvious as you possibly fucking can that you're just spotting me, hold my hand, maybe even with both hands, and just walk along with me. Don't pull. Don't work, take a break, just spot me so I don't fall and let me walk. I want to walk all the way around the ring and then jump off and kick you. Okay. You can't pull that off and expect people to appreciate it the same way as if, I'd be like pulling my arm. I'd be like punching their shins, trying to get out of there. You don't stop working. Why would you? But you would, because you never got trained the right way in the first place. The right way, in my opinion. I mean, it almost sounds like, but, also the right way in the traditional manner. Also, let me say this. When I wrestle a lot of, when I used to wrestle Jerry, I was on the top of the totem pole as far as hierarchy goes, right? And so, I had a lot of leverage, whatever I wanted. It was like my position to hold. And I wanted to put me and Jerry to the test, to test our limits, And so even though I was told, go out there, have should be 8 minutes or less, even though I was told that, I wanted to go out there for 30 minutes. And sometimes, if Jerry would have something to say before the match, that he felt like he knew something, if something was right, it was right. And I always respected that about him. Like I just said, they weren't trained the right way. And then I said, well, who am I in my head? Who am I to say that? In my opinion, let me just say, I backtracked because, I try to control my ego. But Jerry would know, for instance, if it was like, hey, do you have a problem, Jerry, if we go out into the crowd? Because I was thinking, boom, 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 but we'd have to boom, boom, boom. And Jerry would be like, if we're going to do that, then let's boom, 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 and boom, boom. And then we have to boom. You get it? And I liked it because it wasn't like he was talking down to me, but he was so sure of himself. And I've respected that, because he was like, boom, this is the way. And a lot of times I will wrestle with younger guys and they do the same thing, except they're not making the match better. They're making it, they're compromising it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For not always, but a lot of times, when I'm saying, you know what, I got this vision, boom, 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 boom. Oh, can I go boom, boom, boom there? And it's like, sometimes it can be.
Yeah. No, I thought that was really smart. And just thinking about the moment of stalemate he was describing, it's like that didn't hit my radar just as a fan necessarily, but when he describes it, it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of these younger guys, it's like, oh, look at the pageantry we just put up. Look at this performance we just did. Whereas when you guys would do it, yeah, boom, that looked like a stalemate. And then you guys had to reconfigure and fight it out again. It's like,
and we really were competing to try to get to that point first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I just took a snapmare, I was like, no way I'm going to turn around. He's already facing me. You know what I mean? I'm like, no way. I'm going to get him to be quick and boom. And I really, I was like, I don't want him showing me up. So that's a lot of what's missing too, is like, the legit competition that people never think about.